perfect end to a perfect day. Hi, we're in the majestic Waimakariri River Valley today, and this track, which I know is fairly flat and heads along the Waimakariri River, has already dished out a few surprises for me. The start of the walk's actually a little bit up and down, quite muddy, and full of beautiful little rivers and waterfalls, including that one that I just had to cross there. It's just starting to rain lightly, so this is going to prove to be a really fun-filled adventure today. Thanks for joining me, you guys. I hope that you enjoy yourself as much as I'm planning to. We've got a little bit more travel through the bush to do, and then we're going to break out onto the river flats, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this area when we get there. Needless to say, it's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. So the question here is, do I just charge through get wet boots, or do I walk the slippery pole? So tempting. So tempting. No, I'm not going to do it. Could end in disaster, hey? Oh, here we are, the beautiful Waimakariri Valley. Stunning, absolutely stunning. Just incredible. Over there in the distance you can see the power lines. You can just make out the cars crossing over the Waimakariri Bridge. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, I need to make my way through the swampy area here. I'm not sure how long my boots will stay dry for. I avoided coming out yesterday because there was absolute torrential rain. And as much as I love a rainy camp, I don't know rivers and torrential rain are such a good idea. But what that means is that we've got a lot of water coming down through the rivers still, and things are quite boggy. So let's see if I can find somewhere to cross that's not going to involve really, really wet feet? The answer is probably no. I think I'm just going to have to give it a go. Wish me luck. This is where I really wish I had my hiking pole. Okay, do I just run? Run the gauntlet. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. This is Mataguri, and this stuff is really sharp, so it's a choice of getting wet feet or getting scratched up. All right, let's do a bit of both. Oh, yuck! Isn't this absolutely gorgeous? You can see the snow on the hills in the background. Well, I should call them mountains actually. You can see the snow on the mountains. So it's the end of May, which is right at the end of autumn, and just going into the start of winter. So there's a little bit of snow up on the top of the mountains, but not nearly as much as will be there in a few weeks' time. So we get to enjoy the milder weather before the snow comes. I'd love to come back up this valley when it's covered in snow, so we'll just have to see. The problem in this area is that you often can't get along the roads when the snow's down this low. New Zealand's not set up like other countries are, so when we get heavy snowfall, a lot of things shut down, at least until the vehicles have been through to clear the snow and lay the grit. This crosses a really wide rocky or sandy rocky portion of the river, and I think it'll be quite some time before we're back onto soft ground. So let's go and have a look up here. I think this is going to make a great spot. There's a nice flat area over here where I'm going to put the tent, and then I'm just trying to decide how I configure the tarp. Might have to figure that out once I've got the tent up. The nice thing about this X-bed tent is you can move it around once it's up. The rain is coming and going. So we just had a bit of a downpour just as I wanted to put the tent up. Isn't that always the way? So my stuff's a little bit wet, but not very wet. Hold on, I can see a whole lot of sand in there. This is what happens. The last place I went, oh, there's the rest of my pegs. I wondered where they were. The last place I went had lots of clay, and it got over everything, including all through the pegs. And this is the remnants of it. Alright, well the tent is up. I'm going to stick all my stuff in the tent, and then I'm going to have a think about how I configure the tarp. I do want to have some cover so I can sit out, but I also want to be able to look out that way when I wake up in the morning, which means there's nothing here to tie the tarp to. So I'm probably going to tie it across to one of the trees around the back and just sit around the side to cook. All right. Oh my goodness, I have to show you something. Those are Indi's paw prints from the last trip that we were on. That's what I mean, it was very clayey. So obviously Indi's not with me today. And the reason she's not with me is because, whoops, we're in a national park. And as I have mentioned before, but for those of you who haven't seen my channel before, you're not allowed to bring dogs into the national parks in New Zealand. And I've got a permit for Indi to come into some areas, some forest parks and other places, but not national parks. And so anytime I come to a national park, she's got to stay at home. But don't you worry about her. She will be having the time of her life. Well looked after by my husband and children. So it's just me. And it's raining again, so time to get a scurry on. Right, that's the tarp. All right. Now I just need to work out how tall I want it to be. As tall as high as I can reach, which is what, around about here. Fantastic. There you go, that's what I wanted. I think there's something quite magical about getting all the wrinkles out of your tarp. It's a very good feeling. Right, I've brought a few special things to make this little home nice and cozy. I have to show you in a minute, but I suppose it's the sun setting. The clouds are moving in again, so it's probably going to rain a little bit later. But there's also these little patches of light, and there's also patches of pink clouds as the sun sets behind it. It's really beautiful. Really beautiful. I have brought a little bit of kindling so that we can have a fire. What I need to do is see if I can find some rocks and build a fire pit, and then go and collect a bit of wood. I think what I'm going to do, see what time it is. 4:40. Doesn't sound like it's very late, but it will get dark early. As much as I would like to stop and have a break, I don't think I will. I think I'm going to carry on. I'll tell you what I've got with me. I didn't have a very big lunch. I had a really small lunch, so I decided I'm going to have sort of starters and then my main meal. So I have brought with me some sushi, and I just can't wait. I'm so looking forward to it. And I've got a really nice drink. So I am going to go and gather the firewood, get that all set up and ready, and then I think it's going to be time for some sushi and a drink. And then I'll light the fire, hang out by the fire for a while, and cook up my dinner a little bit later. For dinner tonight, I've kind of cheated because I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the energy to think about a big meal. Sometimes, I mean, most of the time I love cooking things from scratch, but I saw at the supermarket Mexican black bean chili. So that is what we've got, Mexican black bean chili with corn chips and sour cream. So good old kind of cheats nachos. Why not? Why not? This is great. Right, I'm going to show you around, and then we're going to go on a rock and wood finding mission. All right, so here we are. There's camp over there, just to give you a bit of perspective. Now somewhere up there is my neighbour. I'm going to call him my neighbour. There's a hunter who came along just as I was putting up my tent. I won't embarrass him and put him in my video, but he stopped and said hi. Nice dude. And I just made sure, obviously, that he was aware that I'm here, that he doesn't think I'm some sort of deer or something. And back there's the way that we walked in from. And all the way back around to camp. Yeah, so that's where we are. Bit of context. Doesn't that look inviting? Doesn't that look inviting? Especially when you know there is salmon sushi to be had. So what I'm doing is just putting some wood down as a base underneath the kindling, because then as the embers and ashes fall down, they ignite the pieces underneath. I've changed my mind on something. I'm going to light the fire now. It'd be lovely to sit and watch the fire as I watch the rain move in from up the valley. And I'll turn you around as well so you can see. There we go. I've just realised my microphone's down here. Hopefully not getting too hot. I thought you might like to hear the fire. There's quite a lot of hissing going on, which suggests there's quite a bit of moisture in the wood. Still got a little bit of my drink left. I highly recommend that. It's absolutely lovely. Quite a nice alternative to having a beer or some wine. Oops. And my sushi was delicious. As always, I brought too much food. So I had the tiniest breakfast and lunch, and so I thought, oh yeah, I'll bring starters, which was my sushi, and then my main meal. But I can tell it's going to be too much. Never mind. It's part of camping. Isn't this fantastic? I'm really enjoying this. It's It's a shame not to have Indi with me. But it's really nice to be in a national park. I'll make sure the next trip I go on I take her with me. Because I know you guys like to see Indi. You know, I've just remembered this video is going to be my 20th video. Yep, 20th video. I can't believe it. I started out videoing using my iPhone about 7 or 8 months ago. About 7 months ago. And could never have imagined I'd get this far. And that's all thanks to you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me, for supporting my channel. And hopefully there's many more videos to come. I have lots and lots of ideas, especially coming into winter. I've got some winter camping ideas. So stay tuned. Make sure that you're subscribed so that you know when those come out. Yeah, I just want to say a really big thank you to everybody who's subscribed to the channel, everybody who supports the channel. Thank you for your lovely comments. You guys are amazing. You guys are really amazing. Thank you for your support. It's really fantastic. I just realised something. I don't think I've ever actually introduced myself, told you guys what my name is. So my name is Kathy. So Indian Kathy. And I know a lot of people have assumed that OT must be my initials, Adventure OT. But it's not. OT is just a bit of a play on words. It's my way of reminding myself, I suppose, that outdoor adventures, so these kind of adventures, they are my outdoor therapy. OT, outdoor therapy. They're so fantastic. And it's the adventurous part of these trips that I really love. They're not nearly as adventurous as some of the things other people do. I'm not a mad mountaineer or a skilled bushcraft person, but these little adventures, they're so good for me, and I hope that you enjoy them as well. I just love being outdoors. I love the adventure of having to cope on my own, light a fire, pitch a tent, just manage myself on my own. It's a real challenge, and that adventure builds my character, makes me a stronger person, gives me a sense of being in control of my life, gives me confidence. There's so many things that these trips do for me, and that's what I want to share with you guys, the therapeutic benefit really of being in the outdoors and doing stuff that's adventurous. So that makes me think, I had a comment from somebody recently who asked me, are you really alone? And if you are, oh my gosh, why take such risks? And it was really interesting because it got me thinking. I mean, first of all, yes, I am alone, apart from Indi. I mean, surely you can tell. If I had someone else with me, the quality of the filming, for starters, would be a whole lot better. Yeah, I have no reason to lie about that. I'm here on my own. And that's part of the excitement and interest and enjoyment of these videos is that you know that I do walk along, place the camera, walk back, walk into the frame. And one of these days I'm going to do a behind the scenes, show you some of the faffing around that goes on. It's actually really funny. I think you'll find it very amusing. So I'm going to do a little behind the scenes video at some point. Actually, leave a note in the comments. Tell me, do you want to see that? Are you interested to see what goes into filming yourself in the outdoors? Maybe you're not. Maybe you just think, we'd rather not know. Keep the mystery. But yes, I am here on my own. And why take such risks? There's two parts to that. The first is that risk is relative. And I suppose what you have to think is that, like an animal, this is my natural habitat. This is where I belong. This is what I know. These are the places and spaces that I have spent a lot of time. My family spent a lot of time hiking, mountaineering, climbing, tramping. That's the word that we use in New Zealand. So when I say tramping, that has got nothing to do with being a tramp. Basically means just putting your stuff on your back and heading out there into the wild. And so I know these places and spaces, and so the risks for me are not the same as the risks for somebody who's not familiar with this environment. I'm really in tune with the weather, I'm really in tune with the environment, and so the risk doesn't seem that big for me. Why take risks at all? That is probably the second part. And I think the answer to that is that you can't afford not to. You can't afford not to have some risk in your life. Like, I'm not talking about ridiculous risk. I'm talking about like calculated risk. Like for me, this is not risky because I have planned. I have prepared. I have gone over everything with a fine-tooth comb. My husband and my children know where I'm going. I have researched things. I have considered the weather. I have got extra food, extra clothing. I've got a personal locator beacon. I've got all sorts of things that mean that the risks are mitigated. But you've got to take some risks in life. If you don't do anything risky, if you don't have any adventures, you don't actually learn what you're capable of. And I think that's really sad because that's how you build resilience. That's how you build your character and all the great qualities that are available. If you just sit at home on the couch doing nothing, you really miss out. And you don't have to come out and do this, but just doing something that's a little bit risky, that's what we call the just right challenge. So that point at which it's not too easy and not too hard. And this for me is the just right challenge. This is not too hard for me. It's also not easy. And when I go home, I feel satisfied and content and really proud of myself. So why take risks? This is why. This is why. So that you can have a rich life. It's raining. I'm going to put the microphone up here and let you guys listen to the rain while I start cooking up my Mexican chili. Check it out. See those eyes? Oh, there they are. See those eyes? That's a possum staring at me. Oh, I do not like possums. I haven't actually set up my bed yet, so I'm going to go and do that now. Go and get everything set up, let the fire continue dying down. Camera charged up for tomorrow. Right, seeing as I know I'm going to have possum visitors tonight, I'm going to make sure everything is well packed up, zipped away, no food left out for them. What a perfect end to a perfect day. Good night, everyone. See you in the morning. Good morning. It's absolutely beautiful here in the valley this morning. The only thing is the sandflies are absolutely out in force. They are out in force. It's coffee time, so I have brought with me some ground coffee. And as a treat, some cream for my coffee. Oh, there's a sandfly in my coffee already. licking on me. Ugh. And biting. Every time I come away, there's always something that I forget. And this time I forgot to bring my insulated coffee mug. So I had a takeaway coffee on the way here, and because I remembered, when I was drinking my takeaway coffee, I remembered that I'd forgotten my coffee mug. So I've packed my used coffee cup. And that's going to be my coffee mug this morning, which is absolutely fine. There's always something that you leave behind. At least it wasn't the tent. I think I can use the lid. Cup's been squashed, and so the lid's all out of shape. Oh, that's lovely. I think this is a must-have for me when I go camping. A nice cup of coffee in the morning. What say we go for a walk and have a look at the morning view? Let's go and check it out. you guys the time has come. Time to head off, get back on the track, get back to reality. I hope that you've enjoyed coming along on this camp with me. I certainly enjoyed it. It was really relaxing. And what did I enjoy most? Oh, I loved the walk in. This valley is really beautiful. Then I also loved watching the fire last night and then getting into bed and having it pour down with rain. That was really, really special. It was just what I was hoping for. I'm going to dismantle this fireplace and then I'm going to get on the track. So I'm going to say goodbye to you now, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I look forward to joining you on the next adventure. Okay guys, see you. Bye.